Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. We're going to go through really the first half of May in today's episode, and our Orioles had a pretty strong month of April. We started a little bit slow, but we really played well as the month went on, finishing with a record of 17-9. The team has been a mixed bag so far. We've had a lot of guys play really well to start the season, and a lot of guys play really poorly to start the season. Look at the bottom of the lineup. Marco Luciano and Ryan Mountcastle are both hitting below 200. I do want to talk about Blaze Jordan real quick. He's had a nice season off the bench, 400 in only 10 at-bats, but he actually recently tore his MCL. And I must have missed the pop-up that said he tore his MCL, but he is done for the year. So, yeah. That's not particularly good. Now, if there's any silver lining, we did already accidentally use his minor league option at the beginning of the year, so we can send him down to single A, and we won't lose a minor league option, so that's cool. Also, don't forget that Heston Kjerstad is about to return from his broken foot, so Kjerstad will pretty much be replacing Blaze Jordan's roster spot. Of course, the big storyline of the pitching has been how good German Marquez has been, arguably the best pitcher in the American League through the first month of the season. And really, the top of our rotation as a whole is doing very well with Marquez and Corbin Burnes, but the rest of our rotation's been a little bit up and down, although Matthew Thompson did have a nice end of the month. But bullpen as well has been a little bit up and down. Will Brooks has gotten off to a slow start. Seranthony Dominguez is doing Seranthony Dominguez type things. I'm moving Jordan Hicks from the setup to the middle reliever because I want him to pitch more. He only pitched 4.2 innings in April, and that's just not enough. So I simulated up to this Mariners series. We went 2-2 in the games I simmed, and as you can see there, Heston Kjerstad is back. So Blaze Jordan will officially move to single A, and Heston Kjerstad will be back with the big league club for the first time this year. So my original plan was to replace him with Mountcastle, but Mountcastle's actually starting to play well. So instead, Kjerstad will play against righties instead of Marco Luciano, who is really struggling. Luciano will still start against lefties, but I mean, the guy's hitting 182. I can't start him every day when a guy like Heston Kjerstad is, quite frankly, a lot better. So let's play this first game of the series in Seattle against the 15-15 Mariners. The Orioles are currently 19-11 as we take a look at Heston Kjerstad's season debut. It's been a roller coaster start to the Major League career for Heston Kjerstad, who's already dealt with multiple injuries. Last season was very up and down before being permanently sent down to AAA. Hopefully he can play well enough to just consistently stick on the big league roster all year, because last season was a lot of good and a lot of bad. So hopefully we can try to get rid of that bad. It'll be Justice Sheffield starting for the Mariners. He's had a pretty good season so far. 3.06 ERA, 1.25 WHIP in 6 starts. And credit to Justice Sheffield. He was a top prospect in New York who kind of flamed out, but he has developed into a really good pitcher in Seattle. Facing off against Adley Rutschman to start the game off. Rutschman will get that one to bounce in front of a wall, likely for extra bases. And the Baltimore Orioles will start this one off with a quick double. So Adley Rutschman in scoring position with no outs, a prime opportunity to drive in a run. And Elliot Ramos looks like he wants to do just that. Ramos with a deep fly ball. That one will go off the wall and left center. Rutschman decided to stay at second. He didn't want to risk it being caught, and since there's no outs, you can't really blame him. So Rutschman only advances to third, but nonetheless, that'll be a double for Elliot Ramos. So now it's second and third, nobody out for Louis St. John, who will weakly fly this one into center, but that should be more than enough room for Adley Rutschman to tag home to score. But he's going to be out. What a throw at center, just barely gunning down Adley Rutschman. And the Seattle Mariners will turn the double play. Will they officially shut out the Orioles in this inning? Not quite. Kyle Lewis was unable to make the catch that time. Now, the Mariners would actually get Nick Castellanos out for some bad base running. So a very weird first inning. But the Orioles do score, at least for on the board. But a very peculiar start to the ball game. So Corbin Burnes will be starting for the Orioles. Now, much of the attention has deservedly gone to German Marquez, but Corbin Burnes has quietly been outstanding. Sub-3 ERA, sub-1 WHIP, making his 7th start of the year as he strikes out Noelvi Marte to open up the day. Let's go to the top of the second now. Heston Kjerstad hitting 5th in the lineup, getting his first at-bat of the season. Little lefty-on-lefty crime here. He's not usually going to play against lefties, but since it was his first game, figured might as well put him in the lineup. He's going to ground that one out to second. Shed Long will make the play, so a pretty uneventful first at-bat for Heston Kjerstad. That'll bring up Jalen Miller, who lines this one in the left center, and this one is gone. Jalen Miller goes over the fence for his 5th home run of the season. The Orioles will extend their lead as it's 2-0. Miller's first couple weeks of the season were not great, but he's played a lot better since then, and he is currently on pace to have a career year. In the bottom of the second, the Orioles are going to try to turn the double play, but Luciano's throw to first is offline, and Yasmani Grandal, the catcher, will be safe. Marco Luciano can't really hit this year, so he's going to need to play good defense in order to stay in the lineup, and his error is going to cost Baltimore as Ty France hits a 2-run shot into left, and the Mariners are going to tie it at 2. This game should be 2-0 had Luciano made that routine throw, but instead, the Mariners are right back in it as we are tied at 2. One at the top of the third, the reigning American League MVP, Nick Castellanos, going oppo taco into right field. Castellanos had some faulty base running in his last at-bat. He would remain aggressive going to second, but he is safe. So the Orioles do give themselves a runner in scoring position. That'll bring up Heston Kjerstad now. What's he going to do? He will swing and miss on the sinker. Not particularly ideal. Kjerstad now 0 for 2 as Sheffield gets his first K of the day. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth. Game is still tied at 2 as Renato Nunez will hit that one into left. The former Oriole will reach base. And the Mariners have 2 runners on with only 1 away for the catcher, Yasmani Grandal, who hits this one nicely into left field. Heston Kjerstad has trouble getting to it. 1 run should score, and the Seattle Mariners will take the lead as it is now 3-2. Baltimore now finds themselves in a jam, so they would decide to intentionally walk the next batter, Ty France. And the bases are now loaded. Still only 1 out. Baltimore could really use a double play right here. And that's what it looks like it might be. 4-6-3 off the bat of Shed Long. Marco Luciano did make the throw that time. So it is only a 3-2 game. Seattle only scores 1. I guess that inning could have gone worse. On to the 5th inning. As you can see, Justice Sheffield has really pitched well these past couple of frames, as Anthony Rizzo will get an infield single. That one deflected off of Sheffield, who was a little bit banged up, but he would remain in the ballgame. Adley Rutschman is now up for the woes. 2-2 pitch, and that one's going to sail by him. It'll be a wild pitch. Rizzo advances to second. It was a bad throw by Grandal, so really a total mess there for the Mariners. Now there's a runner in scoring position all of a sudden. Rutschman hits that one nicely into second. Shed Long deflects it. However, Rutschman is safe, and now the O's have a pair of runners on the corner. So a really interesting opportunity here for Elliot Ramos to put Baltimore back in this game. And he's going to swing at a pitch that he really should not have. Low inside slider. Yeah, that's not the pitch he should be swinging at. Into the bottom half of the inning, here is Rafael Devers, the big free agent signing, who strikes out on the curveball. Another strong inning for Corbin Burnes, who, despite allowing 3 runs, has looked good in this game, and I think the Orioles might try to keep him in a little bit longer. Seattle will make a pitching change on the other hand, as Juan Fenn checks in for the M's, facing off against Heston Kjerstad with 2 away. Kjerstad rips this one into center. Lewis is unable to make the grab, and Heston Kjerstad will get his first hit of the year, a 2-out double. The Orioles now give themselves a runner in scoring position as they try to get back on the scoreboard for the first time since the 2nd inning of this game. Baltimore leads the AL in doubles for what it's worth, as it's Jalen Miller who is up at the plate. Miller already has 1 home run today. This one looks like it could be a second. Deep in the left, it is gone. 2-run shot for Jalen Miller. 2nd of the ball game, 6th of the season. And the Baltimore Orioles are back on top as they will make it 4-3. A great day so far at the plate for Jalen Miller. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Just what the doctor has ordered. So now Baltimore is up. Corbin Burnes, of course, still in here in the bottom of the 6th, as it would be a 1-2-3 inning, retiring the side. Finished off with a Yasmani Grandal ground out. Good outing for Corbin Burnes, as he would be removed from the game after this inning. He never really should have allowed 3 runs. That's more so because of bad defense. As we now go to the 7th, Nick Margevicius is in for Seattle, facing off against Anthony Rizzo. Lefty on lefty crime. Rizzo hits this one high and deep into right center field. You can forget about it. Solo shot for Anthony Rizzo, his 8th of the year. Rizzo started the year off really poorly, but the past couple of weeks, he's been on fire. It'll be Colin Poche who checks in for Baltimore here in the bottom of the 7th. Orioles with a nice 2-run lead as he faces off against Julio Rodriguez, one of the best young prospects in baseball. Hasn't really flown onto the scene quite yet, as he would fly out to right. Castellanos makes the play. Nice 1-2-3 inning for Poche. And now we go to the top of the 8th. Beau Burrows is in for the Mariners as he faces off against Louis St. John to start the inning. Quiet game so far for LSJ. He is 0 for 3, but it looks like he will get a base hit as that one goes past the diving glove of Noelvi Marte. And now the Orioles have themselves an early base runner. 2 away now for Jalen Miller. This one will not be his 3rd home run of the game, but it will go for an infield single. Miller with his 3rd hit of the contest, and now Baltimore has a pair of runners on the corners. We'll see if that bad defensive play by Marte backfires, and the answer would be a resounding yes. Max Muncy with a 3-run homer off of the second deck wall out and left. His 3rd of the year, 369 nice feet. And it looks like with a 5-run lead, the Orioles have this one in the bag. We will transition to the bottom of the 9th. Still 8-3 as it's Sir Anthony Dominguez in to finish this one off for Baltimore. Ty France up with 1 on and 1 out, grounds it to short. Luciano flips it to Miller, over to Rizzo. A 6-4-3 double play. And the Baltimore Orioles will take the win. 8-3 is your final. Overall, a pretty good showing. The offense was a little bit inconsistent, but, 8 runs was no slouch. We had 4 home runs as a team. So, overall, we hit the ball fairly well. Shout out to Jalen Miller. He went deep twice. Really good performance from him. And the pitching was pretty good. Again, I know Corbin Burns allowed 3 runs, but they weren't really his fault. Just a lot of bad defense. And for the Mariners, they didn't really pitch well. Their hitting was on and off. So, overall, pretty good win. So now I wanted to figure out which game I wanted to do next, and I wasn't really sure, but I was kind of intrigued about playing the Rangers. I know they're really bad at 8-23, but they do have an interesting young team, and I don't know if we've ever played them in an actual game in this series before, so that's why I wanted to play against them. We ended up sweeping Seattle. Most notably, we had a 10-0 victory. You can guess who pitched in this game. It was Irman Marquez. Didn't go the full length, but he did go 8 1/3. And then we lost the first game against Texas, which is not great. It looks like the Rangers have won 3 in a row. So maybe they're actually starting to play well. So we might have caught them at a bad time because they're actually kind of doing well. So we've got game 2 of a 3-game set in Arlington, Texas at Globe Life Park as the Texas Rangers play host to the Baltimore Orioles. I particularly picked out this game to pitch with Matthew Thompson. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But first, let's talk about Michael Grove, the rookie, who will be starting for the Rangers. Not great, but not awful numbers either. He's been fairly mediocre, which I guess is good for the Rangers standards. Jalen Miller goes down looking. We just saw him hit 2 home runs against Seattle. That time he would be retired, and we go to the bottom of the 1st. Speaking of Matthew Thompson, here he is. Kind of got off to a slow start this year, but he has pitched a lot better as the season has gone on, so hopefully he can have a nice outing here against Texas. As this is Hans Schmidt, a former subscriber-made international free agent who opens up the game with a quick single, so Texas already has an early base hit. The Rangers lineup does not have a ton of talent, but they do have a few scrappy players who can make plays and run the base as well. Nate Lowe will fly this one into left. The throw from Heston Kjerstad is way off. I think Helen Keller could have made a better throw than he did there. And the Rangers will take a 1-0 lead. Top of the 2nd now. Adley Rutschman with 1 away. Hits this one nicely into center, and it will drop for a hit. The center fielder, Steele Walker. I wish my name was Steele. Unable to make the play. The throw from Walker is offline, so Rutschman is going to try to head to second. The throw from the catcher, Huff, is in time. So Adley Rutschman is out. The center fielder, Steele Walker, decided to big brain it by making Adley go to second base. Max Muncy will go down looking, and that will conclude the top of the 2nd. Good start for Michael Grove. And now we go to the bottom half of the inning. Here is Sam Huff, who threw out Rutschman earlier in the inning. Bloops a single into left field. So again, Texas has 2 more runners on. And they've done a good job of getting early base runners here against Matthew Thompson, who has not had the greatest of starts. Hans Schmidt, 2-2, will hit this one into center. Ramos sprinting after it. He will make the play. So the Rangers are held off the scoreboard in that inning as it remains 1-0. Let's go to the 3rd now, see if Baltimore can get anything going on offense, as it's Ivan Cortez Jr. with 2 away. Going to try to lay down the drag bunt, and he does it to a beauty. No Marco Luciano in the lineup because, well, he's forgotten how to hit a baseball. So Cortez is on first. That'll bring up Jalen Miller, who hits this one high and sort of deep into straightaway center. But Walker will make the play, and that is now 3 shutout innings for Michael Grove. who has pitched awfully well to start this game. Top of the fourth now, we'll see if Grove can keep his groove, and he does, striking out Louis St. John. LSJ singing way too late there on the fastball. But Matthew Thompson is also starting to pitch a lot better. He gets Jason Martin to go down on the fastball. Jason Martin's probably been Texas's best hitter this season, which is kind of sad, no disrespect. Max Muncy also strikes out, so both pitchers right now are on fire. Really a traditional pitcher's duel. We'll see who can break next, and it might be Texas as Hans Schmidt hits that one into right. Castellanos completely runs by the ball, so that's going to be a triple for Hans Schmidt, and the defensive woes continue for Baltimore. We saw it in the first game against Seattle, but it looks like they're kind of back. Steele Walker grounds this one to short. Cortez charging after it. He does not make the throw in time. Now, the run would have scored regardless, but now there's a runner on first base. Nick Solak grounds that one past the glove of Muncy. Kjerstad misplays it, and the runner is going to try to head home. Bad throw from Kjerstad. The throw from the cutoff man is also offline, so the Rangers make it 3-0. And again, this is all because of bad defense. After that, Matthew Thompson would be taken out of the game, and Felix Rosa will enter. You can't really blame Matthew Thompson for it going south, but they did get quite a few base hits off of him. But it doesn't seem like the Rangers' offense is going to stop. Another RBI double for Texas, and they will now make it 4-0. That was Solak who scored the run driven in by Donovan Casey. Are they still done? Okay, now they're done. As Jason Martin will swing and miss, Rosa gets out of the inning, but not a particularly good inning, as the Orioles allow 3 and are down at 4-0. On to the 6th. Baltimore's offense trying to get just anything going as Heston Kjerstad opens up the inning drawing a walk. That'll bring up Ivan Cortez Jr., who already has a base hit off of a drag bunt today. And he's going to try to go for another one. And it looks like this one might work again as the third baseman tries to barehand it, and he doesn't pick it up. So the Orioles now have 2 runners on, nobody out. They cannot squander this opportunity, but there's now 2 away. That will bring up Louis St. John, who hits it nicely into right center. Kjerstad will score. Cortez advances to third. And even though it took nearly 6 innings, the Baltimore Orioles are finally on the scoreboard. And now there's runners on the corners. A huge opportunity for Castellanos, who rips a single into center. Cortez will jog home. And the Orioles are making this a ball game. It's now only 4-2. Grove would be taken out of the game after that. And Braxton Garrett, the former first-round pick by the Miami Marlins, will enter. And he would get out of the inning fairly easily. Bottom 6, a double play opportunity for the O's, but they are unsuccessful. They do get the runner out at first, but Ivan Cortez Jr.'s throw to second was offline, and the runner at second is safe. The blame there belongs to solely Cortez. Jalen Miller does a great job of not only recovering, but actually somehow managing to get the out at first. However, the next batter, Hans Schmidt, would ground out to shortstop. Cortez will avenge his mistake, and the Rangers do not score anybody. 4-2 remains your score. Let's go to the bottom half of the 7th. Braxton Garrett pitched another nice inning for Texas, and Jordan Hicks is in for the O's as he faces off against Nick Solak, who is 3 for 3 in this game. Going to make it 4 for 4. Little miscommunication out in center and right between Ramos and Castellanos. That'll be a 1-out triple for Nick Solak. And again, a lot of the blame there belongs to the defense. I hate to keep bringing the defense up, but they're the reason why the Orioles are struggling. 2 away, Casey, routine grounded to first, but Jalen Miller completely misses the throw. That play directly leads to another run scoring, and it is now 5-2. I don't know why the Orioles have not been able to play defense today, but it's been hard to watch. Andres Munoz is in for the Rangers in the 8th, as Cortez is going to try to lay down another bunt single, and he does. Normally, when Ivan Cortez Jr. lays down 3 or 4 bunts a game, maybe he'll get one of them to be a hit. Today, he's 3 for 3. That's awfully impressive. Nobody out here. Jalen Miller grounds that one, and Lau will make a nice play. Do they get the out at first? They do. Great defense by Texas. Now, Cortez does advance into scoring position, but they are able to get one out nicely. That'll bring up Anthony Rizzo, who launches this one deep into center field. That one will be not caught. Over the glove of Walker, Ivan Cortez Jr. rounding third, headed home. And that'll be an RBI double for Anthony Rizzo. For a second, that looked like it was going to be gone. Then it looked like it was going to be caught. But sure enough, it stays in play for a double. Two away now for Castellanos to try to tie the game. Hits that one high, deep, into left field. They just caught it. Unfortunate. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th now, where Baltimore will try to keep this a 2-run game. Alex Colomé is in for the O's. He's been fine this year, not spectacular, but not bad either, as he gets Adolis Garcia to strike out, and the 8th inning would go fairly well for him. So now the Rangers will put in their closer, Nick Fry, who doesn't really appear to be their closer, but he's in for the save today, and sure enough, he'd get it pretty easily, as it would be a 1-2-3 inning, finished off with a Elliot Ramos fly out to center. And don't look now, but the Texas Rangers have won 4 straight. They beat the Orioles 5-3. Really not the team you want to lose to. So, an unfortunate loss for Baltimore. This was a very weird game. Our offense wasn't all that good. I mean, Ivan Cortez Jr. did have 3 bunt singles, but the rest of the offense was very unimpressive. Only 1 extra base hit. I don't think the pitching was all that bad. I thought Matthew Thompson played pretty well. I thought the bullpen did well, but defensively, we just allowed too many runs. Only 1 error, but it really felt like there were a lot more defensive mistakes. That Castellanos play in the 5th inning, that Ivan Cortez Jr. bad throw. I don't know how that's not an error, but whatever. I simulated the final game of the Texas series. We did win, so we don't get swept, thankfully. And that's going to conclude this episode here. We're 23-13, still playing pretty good baseball. We're probably going to cover some minor league stuff next episode, so I hope you guys are excited. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.